Now we're going to look at Motion Mixer. And there's a whole section devoted to Motion Mixer, but this is just going to be a brief introduction to it. And by the way, if you just went through the tutorial on Motion Flow, we're pretty much going to duplicate what we did in the Motion Flow tutorial, only we're going to do it with the Motion Mixer. I'm going to start just by creating a biped and zoom extents. Then I'll go to the Motion panel. Here in the biped apps, we have the Mixer button. I'm going to click on that. And the Motion Mixer window comes up. And also, this button right here, which is the Mixer Mode button, is activated. And that's activated for this particular biped only, and it was activated because the biped was selected when we went into Mixer Mode. Okay, so the next thing that we can do is to load some clips. This is a track right here. I'll just expand this a little bit. And I can just right-click in this track and go to New Clips and From Files. So here we have the same 3 files we were working with before. And I'm just going to hold down the Control key and select all 3 files and click Open. And you can see that these 3 files come in here. Now I can move this slider up here, but it doesn't actually play the animation. I can play the animation down here, but it only goes up to frame 100. So I really want to configure my time to include all 3 animations so that I can see everything I've loaded in up here. I could go down here to the time configuration dialog and change this to be something that would include all these animations. But a more efficient way to do this is to click this button right here, Set Range. Just click that once, and this down here is set to be exactly the range of this animation here. If I slide this down, you can see at the end here, this tells us it's 298 frames. And that's what this is set to as well. As I scrub this, here, let me just expand this a little bit. And this way. And I'll just scale this back a bit. As I scrub this, you can see that there really is no transition there. He just jumps into that sitting pose. And back here it's the same thing. Here he is in his skateboarding pose, and suddenly he jumps into that launching pose. So there are no transitions on this track at this point. In order to get transitions onto the track, I need to do 2 things. Convert it into a transition track. Right now it's a layer track. A layer track does not allow transitions. So I have to convert this into a transition track, and then I actually have to create the transitions. Both of those things are very straightforward. First of all, to convert the track, I'm going to go over into this area right here on the right-hand side of the track, right-click, and choose Convert to Transition Track. And that's all that takes. Now that does not actually create any transitions. It doesn't change the animation at all, in fact. There he is, flying off. Let's just bring that down a little bit. So there he is flying off, and then bam, suddenly he jumps down. And then the same here, just suddenly jumps into that sitting position. So this is a transition track now, but there are no transitions on it. But I can go back this way. And here's my middle clip. I'm just going to grab this clip. You notice I'm already in the Move tool here. Grab this clip and just pull it up. Before I do that, you notice these areas right here. There's another one over here as well. That's the ending of it there. So actually I'll stay here so we can see the beginning and the ending of both. And I just drag this up and let go. That's all. And those transitions are created. I'm just going to scroll this up a little bit here so that we can see this. So now, here he goes running off, jumps into the air, and now there's a smooth transition into that skateboarding position. So let's go back and look at that again. Here he comes, he's throwing himself into the air, and smooth transition into the skateboarding position. Now he's coming out of that jump, and let's pull him into the middle there again. He comes out of that, and he smoothly sits down. So I'm just going to minimize this right now. And Alt-W to make this as big as it can be, and then scale it down a little bit so that we can see the whole thing here. So there's the beginning. Jumps into the air, smoothly transitions, comes out, smoothly transitions, and didn't quite make it. I'm just going to scale down a little bit more. Sits down. And then gets up and walks away. So that's a peek at what Motion Mixer can do. There's a lot more to it, and we'll be looking at that later. And that concludes this movie introducing Motion Mixer.